Welcome everyone. We're here for the Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting number 2025, 11 of 2025 on the 2nd of December 2025. The first item on the agenda is councillors in attendance, and I notice Councillor Madsen, Councillor Augustine, Councillor Johnick and Councillor Doyle are in attendance. And Councillor Antonelli, I just asked you to confirm that you're online.
Yes, does this sound better?
Thank you. And I noticed Councillor Martin is also in attendance as an observer. Next item on the agenda is apologies, and I move that a leave of absence be granted for Mayor Teresa Harding for the Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting, and I'll move that if I could have a seconder. Councillor Johnick, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is...
do we need to vote on that?
I don't. Do we vote, Vicky, on that?
We have been in the end.
Okay. Well, all in favour? Unanimous.
Affirmative.
Councillor, yeah, thank you very much for that, Councillor Antonelli. Next item on the agenda is acknowledgement of country. So, Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers, traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people. I haven't received any notification of declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest by any? Councillor Antonelli, any declaration of interest? Councillor Antonelli? Councillor Antonelli? Press the right button. Councillor Antonelli? Well, he hasn't said anything, so I presume he doesn't have a declaration of interest.
My apology, guys. There was a knock at the door. So what were you asking?
Do you have a declaration of interest?
No, I don't.
Okay. Vicky, I noticed on my run sheet there's no minutes to be approved.
Yes, after the petition.
After the petition. Okay, good. Thank you. First item on the agenda is business outstanding, and that is a response to petition, climate emergency petition. And the background to this is climate emergency petition recommendations on the screen are in relation to 3 points of the petition from the Ipswich Climate Action Group. And I won't read them out, but they're on the screen. Does anyone have any questions of a council officer? If there's no questions of the council officer, I'll ask for a mover and seconder for the recommendations. Move Councillor Augustine and Councillor Madsen, second that. Discussion. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion from you, Councillor?
Yes, please.
Yes, Councillor Antonelli, you have the floor.
I must admit, I'm wondering why we can't decide with respect to recommendation B, why we can't decide the matter in this committee, and we just seem to be delaying it.
Well, Councillor Antonelli, I think we need a council officer to comment on that, or unless the CEO wants to comment on that. CEO? Recommendation number 2.
Chair, only to say that I guess we've set out our the points for consideration in relation to the petition and that particular item in the report. So if there was any specific, of course, as you're aware, it's absolutely a matter for the elected representatives, the council, to determine. We've put forward our recommendation, giving our best frank and fearless advice after giving the matter careful consideration. So I guess if there was a specific question, I'd be happy for either myself or one of the officers to respond.
Yeah, well, Councillor Antonelli, I'll give you leave to call a council officer up if you wish to ask a council officer, the relevant council officer, questions. The CEO.
Yes, please, if I may. I do apologise. It's been a bit of a confusing moment here, that's all.
Sure. Okay, well, CEO, the relevant council officer.
So just maybe can I ask what the question is, and then I can determine whether I can answer it?
Good one. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Antonelli, can you indicate what the question is so that...
Well, I just think the report I know there's a lot of information in the report, but I still believe that this is within council's purview as councillors to determine, rather than just the officers, to determine our response to this petition. I'm just wondering why it is such that we would delay considering the request as per the petition. So that is my question. Why?
Well, councillor, with respect, at this point, we've actually passed the point that we would normally ask council officers questions. You can certainly raise issues in discussion if you wish to, but I think if you're posing a question, it can only be put to a council officer or the CEO.
Well, the CEO asked me to pose that question. I have, and the CEO is going to determine what to do, how to deal with it. So,
is that sufficient, CEO?
I'm happy. I think Mr. Smith was approaching. Mr. Smith, did you want to comment, or else I can? Yeah. Okay. We'll see what Mr. Smith has to say, and I might add to that through the chair.
Just have to do his best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. If you could just state your name and your position.
Acting Sustainability and Climate Change Coordinator, Brodie Smith. So just in relation to the query about recommendation B, the reason that we were looking to propose that we review that as part of the review of the sustainability strategy when that comes up for review in next financial year, I think it would give us a good opportunity to put that out to the community at a wider basis. Obviously, we've seen quite a few comments from the Climate Action Group. A lot of people responded to that petition, so we're fully aware that the community is really keen to see some action from council. We're doing a lot of work in the space currently, but we thought as part of the review it might be a good opportunity to put it out to the wider community and see what else, see what they think of it. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Antonelli, do you have any further questions?
well, from that response, sounds to me that there is no particular impact on us to go one way or the other in relation to this. We have a petition before us. If we were to make that determination today or even next week as per the council ordinary meeting, it doesn't sound like there's any formal ramifications if all you're doing is wanting to go out to the broader community. I think we've already got a large number of people supportive of it. This is a decision that we declare a climate emergency, not that we're going out for further consultation. So is there, what are the ramifications?
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, thank